Now, on a different note, remember Windows 11 Recall? Does anybody recall it? Well, it's back. And Windows Recall is really the ultimate user activity because it records tools released with Copilot plus PCs back in May of 2024, a year ago now, and withdrawn a few months later. So, what Microsoft uses recall activity to do is record comprehensive search, for example, when you cannot remember the website that you're at or read a report or which Slack channel, which I think would be very useful, someone asks you to do something on. Basically, what caused the shutdown is that many users were concerned about the amount of data that was being collected and about how Recall was storing potentially confidential information. Now, Recall is coming back as Microsoft really made it more acceptable. Alistair, from your perspective, this comeback sequel of Windows 11 Recall a real deal?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting thing that so a lot of the coverage has been that this really was not something users wanted to have, and that they're not very keen to see it come back. The coverage we've seen, and I particularly picked this up on Ars Technica, they they don't expect people to want this again. One of the challenges in this is that Windows Recall is looking at everything that's going on the screen and doing AI analysis to identify if there's an image on screen, what's in that image, doing text recognition within images. And so there seems to be very little opportunity to tell Recall not to capture some piece of information. So particularly personally identifiable information, health information, security information. We might previously have been relatively safe if we emailed somebody a screenshot of some information because the image that was attached to the email wasn't actually being indexed successfully. What Recall does is it will actually index the contents of that image. So if you're sending maybe a screenshot of a report from your doctor to your partner, and your partner is using a Copilot Plus PC with Recall enabled, that information is actually fully being ingested into Recall, leading to a question then of how is this data being stored and secured? And that's a kind of a sticky element here of there was no awareness and recall that some of the information is more privileged than other information. The difficulty with recall was that even opening an object, opening a file from a file share, recall would capture what was being shown inside that file with no awareness that there might be security constraints or compliance constraints around the data that's being shown. So there are some serious concerns about how recall is holding this information. I can see huge benefit, and I particularly like the idea that Recall could tell me which Slack channel I had received a message in because, like many people, Ron and I have hundreds of Slack channels across multiple Slack servers to try and track, and working out who said what to you where can be a real challenge. So I can see why Microsoft wants this. Now, it is coming back in the Windows Insider channel first. So it is an opt-in, and in the insider channel, it's not in the main channel yet. And it's unclear whether it's going to remain as an opt-in to have all of your data harvested by Windows Recall. And we do have some concerns about where that data is landing up, where the AI insights are landing up from it, and quite a few questions still to be answered there.